I have often considered all the reasons I wanted to become a nurse, especially in those moments the last 2 years of this program where I felt overwhelmed or uncertain of my abilities to push through. What I continually come back to is the deep commitment I have to becoming who I believe God created me to be. I believe God created me to be someone to change lives through my kindness, my courage, and my strength. I truly care about others, and I feel like I can use my empathy and compassion to help patients be better than when they first arrived in my care. These are reasons that are central to what make me a good nurse. I have learned to deeply connect with my identity as a nurse and place great value on that identity. There is a feeling of being in an elite group of individuals within the nursing community, the nature of which is identified more through the trust and respect associated with being a nurse. Not only do I value my own identity, but I have learned to have great reverence for my coworkers and mentors in the nursing field. Because of everything I've experienced in my career and schooling so far, there is a factor of understanding when meeting other nurses, and I tend to have an automatic respect for them in one way or another. Early on in my path to becoming a nurse, I quickly realized nursing to be the business of people, people whose lives were just as complex as my own. Because there are no two patients alike, it makes the field of nursing incredibly complex. Learning about the aesthetic way of nursing knowledge deepened my understanding of how our care for our patients needs to be tailored to who they are as people in order to get the best care result. Of course, aesthetic knowledge can only bring you so far without incorporating other components of knowledge as well. Empirical knowledge and personal knowledge add to the complexity of nursing practice. The empirical portion is what we focus on for much of our schooling, as the knowledge required is so expansive and vast, ranging from different body systems, diagnoses, care planning, and implementation of treatment. Anyone can read a book, however, and learn these components of nursing. It is the integration of empirical knowledge with other forms of nursing knowledge that make a great nurse. Personal knowledge of inner biases and beliefs can stand in the way of delivering proper care, and the recognition and ability to handle these parts of ourselves will be essential in pushing forward with proper nursing practice. A central theme I've realized in my interactions with patients is the necessity for them to feel seen and heard and be a part of their own healing process. As nurses, we must find a way to integrate the patient's unique identity to formulate the best plan of action for their healing. It is through empirical, aesthetic, personal, and ethical nursing knowledge that we accomplish this. Our patients must know we see them and are participants in their care for their benefit only. We must prove to be their advocate and their comfort during a time where they may feel unsteady about what is going on in their lives. We must give them opportunities to make their own choices in regards to their health care, while always maintaining an ethical standpoint. The delivery of care that is safe, evidence-based, and culturally appropriate is the best way to ensure this. As my time in school draws to a close, I am left with many memories of the points of impact I've had. I think of where I was 2 years ago in my journey as a nurse and how far I've come in that time frame. The experiences I've had in the different clinical settings have left a massive impact on my feelings about being a nurse, as have the many wonderful preceptors I've had along the way. Specifically, the time I spent this prior semester in the PCU and ICU settings really affected my understanding of the abilities of nurses to advocate for and protect their patients in the face of adversity. There have also been the moments of tears, self-doubt, motivation, and triumph that have carved my level of maturity I currently possess as a nurse, as I've had to get through school as a working, married mother. On a deeply personal level, I've experienced an incredible amount of growth in my life since beginning school. I have watched my 1 and 7-year-old baby boys become 3 and 9-year-old boys. My husband and I have purchased our first home and found out we will be the parents of a beautiful baby girl this summer. My life has had an upward trajectory of not slowing down, all while still incorporating school as a main focus. The triumph I have felt each semester of passing and moving forward has insurmountably shaped me as a person and as a nurse. Making the transition from LPN to a BSN prepared RN will certainly come with its challenges, but I feel up to the task. I would certainly not have that same confidence if you had asked me 2 years ago prior to starting my schooling in this program. However, I do feel the integration of what I've learned in school, the future experiences I will have in the field, and knowing who I am as a nurse will push me into the right kind of transition. It has been in the small moments I've had with patients that confirm I am working in the right career setting. The times of small acts of gratitude, or the times my patients have held my hand for comfort, resonate as the times I felt I'm doing what I'm meant to do. I realize not everyone on the planet is equipped for sitting with a family while being told their loved one is not going to make it. Not every person can work hours at a time with no breaks in order to make sure everyone in their care is tended to. Experiencing the wonderful and equally terrible moments of people's lives along with them is not something each person was made to do. And yet, I know in those moments I've experienced strength, knowledge, and courage, and have been able to get through for the sake of my patients. I know I am where God intended me to be, doing what I've been made to do.